What's up, Tim Sykes, millionaire maker, millionaire creator, millionaire teacher, millionaire. Get excited because that should be your goal. I want you to dream big. I know you don't think that you're probably gonna be my next millionaire, but you can be. In this video, we're gonna go over the beginnings of Jack Kellogg. Jack Kellogg is now over $15 million in trading profits. He's making $50, $100, sometimes $200,000 per day. It wasn't always this way. And in the beginning, he started small. So I want you to watch this video, get inspired, take notes. We all start somewhere. Also, congratulate Jack in the comments below. Thank him for being so transparent about his wins and his losses. And if you're in the challenge, tune into every single one of his weekly webinars. We'll post a link to the challenge underneath this. That's where you should go, okay? He's giving weekly watch lists, weekly webinars, arguably one of the best traders in the world right now, and you have access to him. I'm profiting, but I'm not profiting that much. I'm a little too safe lately, but Jack is not. Jack is aggressive, and I think it's really interesting. You'll see the beginning stages of his career in this video. So take notes, congratulate him, study up.
All right, guys. So gonna go ahead and jump into what I talked about on the watch list, and for all of you that didn't read the watch list, basically went over that today's webinar was going to be about the beginning of the journey for me, year one, and really how I started the journey from how it went losing, how long I lost, the numbers, and what else I was doing on at least this Excel sheet. Fortunately for me, I still have the Excel sheet from 2017 when I started, which is just crazy. Seven going on 8 years ago. Still have the same computer, and I still have this Excel sheet. I haven't lost it, so haven't deleted it, which is good. But pretty excited, guys. Want to go ahead and start going over this, and then if we have time after all of that, I'll take some questions, a little bit of questions, people that are really curious or what question is good, I'll answer. And then after that, I would still like to get a little bit of stocks in because there is a few stocks moving today that I do want to cover here. So as you can see, so the first tab is capital. It basically just tracked. I started with at TD Ameritrade, I had $1,800. I was tracking how much I was spending in fees because back then, for a lot of you new people, we actually had commissions back in the day. So when you made a transaction, it cost like $5 to get in and $5 to get out, which has really changed the market, and it's hurting the OTC market and really helped the NASDAQ market because who wants to pay commission? So a lot of small traders don't want to. And you can see there in July of 2017, I was down on both of the accounts, just small money. And basically I had only about 10 grand to my name, but then towards the end of 2017, I was able to actually wire in another 17,500. And that was from some money that I had saved up for the valet, plus that 10K. And then I had another 10,000 that I wired in from it was a money market or something my parents started for me, but that was basically the only investment that they had for me. And I was like, would rather just lose this to the markets or at least try to trade and learn something. So all in all, I started with just under 30K 9 months in. The first 9 months, I was only using 7 to 10K, and I was losing like a couple grand of that. So that's really how I got the money. And then you can see like my first trade ever lost 59 bucks, lost $34. And the lesson was don't jump right into trading, study, and don't trade liquid stocks. That's still, you know, the first month I learned that. Don't trade liquid stocks. And I went through a webinar with you guys about how HKD was super liquid, and I got absolutely rimrodded on that stock because it was liquid and I couldn't cover. And that's the same lesson I learned my first month in, which I'm still using 8 years in, and it's still one of my top rules. So what rules you guys are learning right now is going to serve you for years and years to come along this journey. So first month, whatever, lost $93. Had my first green trade, and you guys got to keep in mind, all these days, all I'm doing is studying. I'm learning everything I can, every single thing I can. The next month, I ended up also losing $100, lost 93, then lost $97. And then I guess my lesson this month was be confident. I don't know why I said be confident. I mean, you have to be confident as a trader, that's for sure, but I shouldn't have been saying that 2 months in while I'm still learning so many new things. So yeah, second month, lost $97, guys. Going into March, I had another trade, lost $150. So I'd basically just start trading, and right when I lose that $100, I just stop trading. And another lesson that I still live by today, which is don't dip buy falling knives. Dip buy into key levels, dip buy into breakouts, buy the breakouts. When you try to predict something or you just buy randomly, not around a key level, it's not going to end well most of the time. I really like dip buying at the key levels on stocks that respect the key levels. And then the next month I started trading more and my losses got even bigger, but I had my first $100 win. Lost 700 bucks this month, and then I said don't try to predict stocks, just react to what it shows you, cut losses quickly, don't revenge trade, use day trades wisely, don't only use technical analysis, you see what you want to see, and use smaller position sizes. So once again, just going month by month and studying and taking these small losses, taking these lessons and learning what I can. So you guys got to see that every journey starts very similar. Every journey starts with these small losses and learning lessons and learning how trading works. And I think everybody starts the same way, by losing. If you started making money right away, it's probably going to end poorly for you. This was my first month of like full-time trading, I guess. I took a trade every week. And I won 10 trades and lost 13. So after 5 months in, or 4 months of studying, my 5th month, I did full-time trading, I guess. No chance. No, I have to interrupt this really quickly. I saw someone said, did you buy puts at the beginning of your webinar? And if you look at the QQQ, right at 2:30, actually, it just craters and makes a new low of the day. So for everyone who attends the webinars every week, and last week especially, the market goes down every single time I start the webinar. And that's just hilarious. I don't know what else to say. So getting into more lessons, focus on what strategy works for you. Don't make emotional buy after taking a loss earlier that morning. Don't buy into strength. When you get a margin call, assume other people got the same call. So I guess I got a margin call this month. I don't know. And terrible executions on OTCs. Don't follow alerts if the play doesn't look good to you. If you're confident about a play, don't try to save a penny to just get the fill. Don't short in the news. Take the meat of the move. Stop chasing strength. Practice good habits. Use multiple indicators. Money doesn't matter at the beginning. So that's a lot, guys. That's a lot of lessons, because look how many times I traded. I traded 23 times. So I had much more lessons. And I really think the beginning few are really important, and also is money doesn't matter at the beginning, right? And really let that sink in. Let that sink in, that money does not matter. And that was my mindset at the beginning, and it's still my mindset to this day, because money's not going to matter at the beginning. If you make or lose a few $100, if you make or lose $200 or $1,000 or whatever it is, money that isn't going to affect your life, then it really doesn't matter. And everybody should be starting small. You shouldn't be starting and making $1,000 wins, $1,000 losses. After being in the game for 7-8 years, then you guys can size up when you're profitable and you have profits to risk. At the beginning, you don't have house money. It's just like walking into the casino and taking $50,000 out and going to gamble. Like it's not, you're gonna maybe lose 50K and be 50K in the hole. Whereas if you had made 50K at the casino, maybe it's okay to take out 5K, right? It's using house money. That's why sizing up comes down the line. June, losing even more. Had my first really bad loss of $1,000. I was getting probably a little bit cocky, but I was doing good. $100 wins, $20, $50 losses. So these first 2 weeks were my first two green weeks, I believe. Yeah, my first two green weeks came 6 months in for a couple $100, and these weeks were good. And then probably was overconfident and came back in and lost way more because I started already sizing up, guys. I already started sizing up right away and losing much bigger losses and had bigger wins. Dip buy at key levels, wait for bounce too short, don't have FOMO, focus at what you're good at and stop going long, take profits, only trade the best setups, don't only trade the chart, respect risk level, trade only volatile stocks, don't trade when you're not mentally there. I need to make a plan ahead of time and stick to it, where to cut losses, do as much research on the stock before you play it that you can. Higher price sometimes don't have the same patterns as true garbage penny stocks. CVNA cut losses if you are short overnight and they come out with news the next day and it gaps up. CVNA, NBEV. I guess I was trading Carvana back in the day. I really don't remember that. Don't force trades and never take positions during the day when you have 0 day trades. Don't hold and hope. Size can't not be out of control. More and more lessons, guys. Still losing. And the more I'm trading, the more that I'm learning lessons and keeping my losses small. And then July, I don't know what happened this month, but stuff started to click. Not as many lessons because once again, I'm like, oh, I'm getting it. 69% win rate for 4 green weeks of the month, trading less days, and keeping those losses small and letting small gains kind of add up, and made $1,000. Which is good. The lessons here are don't short weakness, take profits even though it isn't a huge gain. Realize it's good to practice good habits, take profits, focus on your 3 setups, and don't trade midday. So same kind of rules, guys, as what I'm still sticking to here 7 or 8 years in. Don't trade midday. That's a lesson that I reiterate to myself every single day. Jack, don't take a trade at noon. Don't take a trade at 11:30. Don't take a trade at 12:30. Really avoiding that midday because you just never know, guys. During those hours, and there's a lot less liquidity and stuff going on during that time. So, and take profits, even though it isn't a huge gain, and singles add up, and that's really at the beginning. That's what you need to focus on too. If I was up a couple $100, that's a great trade. $300, good trade. $150, $100, good trade. But yeah, this is basically my seventh month from knowing nothing, from not even knowing what a penny stock was at the beginning of January. And you guys can see I'm learning all these lessons that I still am sticking to year after year, month after month, week after week. The same exact lessons, guys. Nothing has changed. And these are the lessons that I'm still saying, guys, if I take a loss at midday, I'm saying, oh, my lesson here is don't trade during the midday action. And it's the same exact lesson here with a fraction of 1% of the money that I'm trading now. It's the same game. It's the same game. August was another good month for me. So I basically had three more green weeks here. So I had 7 green weeks in a row, which is very, very impressive. Really can't complain about that, my 7th and 8th month in. But then I ended up losing some on those 2 small setups. And then don't go long, take profits. Swing trading isn't what I'm good at. Don't try to trade Tim Bowen's patterns. Wait for ideal entries. Don't trade the same tickers I've lost on, cough, cough, AVEO. It's the same stuff, guys, that I'm still doing now. You know what I mean? Obviously, I go long now and I swing trade, but back then it wasn't working for me. Don't trade the same tickers I lost on. I hate trading stocks that I've lost on because if I don't have a good read on them before, I probably don't have a good read on them now. And then basically what happened here is I was doing good again. Had my first $1,000 week 9.5 months in, or 8.5 months in. And then I went to the Tim Challenge conference in 2017. So this weekend I was at the Challenge conference, and then I came back and I was doing good. And then I got undisciplined and I held for a long time on HMNY short, and I ended up losing 2,400 bucks. It was so frustrating giving back basically that 1,600 that I'd worked for. So these 3 months were flat again. Which is really frustrating. And then basically after that loss, it was too hard, mentally hard for me to trade. So I just stopped trading for the rest of the year, guys. I stopped trading October, November, and December, and I went and tried to sell bamboo pillows at the mall. And it sucked. It absolutely sucked. That business sucked. Lost more money doing that. And another lesson here is don't short low floats. Still something that I follow to this day. All of these lessons are all the same exact lessons that I've learned throughout the years. It's just really the game and the patterns change a little bit, but for the most part, it's the same lessons and it's the same patterns. And then I had the loss journal, and then I had more trading journal. So what was the trade that I was taking? When did I take it? Where did I get in? Where did I get out? What was the dollar size? So $4,000 position, and then all this stuff. And it's me kind of recording my trades, doing that extra work off the sidelines, right? So like shooting the free throws, and just reviewing all these trades that I was making. And yeah, you can see that I did this for a very long time. And it's the same stuff that everyone's doing, and that's what you guys got to understand is my journey is no different than anybody else's. It's all the same exact shit. This trade was over 7 years ago, and I had a $3,000 position with like 25,000, or at this point I had 10K to my name, and I'm losing 25 bucks on it. And I'm learning though. I'm learning the lessons. I'm learning what I should have done. And then I'm going in even more into detail, guys. So what pattern is it? First red day, right? 50% win rate, bounce short, the stuff short I was winning at. I was doing bad at the breakouts. I was doing bad at the longing, spike chasing. I lost every time I chased the spike, guys. It's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. And then you can see here my win rate going long was 15% for the year. For the year, I had a 15% win rate and a 34 win rate overall. My swing trading was 80% green, and it's still my best strategy. When I have a good win going overnight, I usually make more money. Yeah, so I'm just learning all this stuff, and then I'm also tracking patterns here too. So I started this, and I did the July for the patterns about the float and all this stuff that everyone's doing. And this stuff doesn't even matter that much, right? And this is what I think people need to understand is yes, I was gathering the data for patterns, but I am I'm keeping track of the patterns, but it's really just putting in the extra work, right? So it doesn't matter in sports terms if you go and you just do whatever. If you go and you're shooting random shots or whatever, you're just putting in the work, putting in the thought process, putting in the time, that's what's going to make you better. So tracking this stuff is not what's going to make the difference. I don't think knowing the numbers on anything is going to make the difference. It's actually being actively entering in all this data, right? And it's all just what I'm noticing. And I'm thinking constantly about the patterns. I'm thinking constantly about what the fuck's going on. And that's what's going to get you to the next level. That's going to keep you motivated. That's going to keep you going and going and going and trying to become better, trying to stop becoming this quote unquote loser because you're not succeeding at an incredibly hard thing at the beginning. But that kind of mindset, just to work and get through it is really what you need to get ahead, to start becoming profitable, is to start having 7 green weeks in a row on your first year. And you can see I tracking all this data, and then I was messing around with this, but that's basically my Excel sheet here, guys. And then I had my top biggest trades, wins or losses, and I think this wasn't updated to till July, or because I had a bigger loss than this, obviously. In September, I had a biggest loss, but I probably was so checked out I didn't upload it. But you can see I'm just keeping my wins and losses between 0 and 20%. I'm not that good of a trader at the beginning to say, hey, you know what? I'm up 20%, but I think this can go up 50%. I don't know. I'm trading scared and I'm locking in those profits, and that's what Tim teaches in the room. And that's what you guys really need to focus on. Like, you're not a good enough trader if you're unprofitable learning to tell me that you think that if you're up 15% or 10% that you think it can keep going up. You don't have that kind of experience yet, right? And I knew I didn't really have that kind of experience either. So I'm taking those small profits. I'm not shooting for the fences. The only thing I'm doing is I'm holding on to losers too long. I'm holding on to losers. There was never a chance for me to make $1,000 on a trade my first year. I don't believe so. Because I would just keep locking in that $300, $400 or $500. That's what I got for you guys.
Everyone always thinks that like my top students just become great overnight. You don't realize how much hard work it is and how you have to learn from your trades, your wins and your losses. And the losses really help you. And I encourage you to trade small. So if you're not necessarily doing so well in the beginning, it's okay. None of my top students did that great in the beginning. And I'm actually more worried about people who do so well in the beginning, because then they get cocky. They don't actually really take time and fine tune their education. So watch this video again, watch it on repeat if you have to, whatever you have to do to really take your education seriously and learn from your losses, learn from your mistakes. Again, congratulate Jack on all of his success, $15+ million in trading profits. In the last month alone, he just made $1.4 million as we're filming this. So stay tuned for more videos from him. But if you're in the challenge, tune into his webinars every single week and write down questions. He's answering questions galore too. So study up. You could be next if you're dedicated.